All right, on to our next story. So last week we talked about Putin's UN speech and his wish to reorganize the world order with Russia at the top. Well, now he is taking steps to see that happen. A little more than a day after Putin's speech and giving the U.S. only an hour's notice, and only giving that notice to a low-ranking official at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, Russia started aerial bombing campaign in Syria. But are they attacking ISIS? Of course not. Here's a CNN report on the bombings. Russia gave us only a 1 hour's notice, and they actually told us, that's right, told us to leave Syrian airspace. And it's not like a surprise that Russia started bombing Syria, since they've been building up there for weeks now. But the Obama administration actually believed they would work with them and take down ISIS? I mean, come on. If they really believe that, then as Everett says in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, one of the best movies ever made, they're dumber than a bag of hammers. Now, we have no doubt that they're not attacking ISIS, and they're bombing an area where there is no ISIS fighters, as the report said. In a joint statement of a coalition made of the United States, Britain, Turkey, France, Germany, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, all accused Russia of attacking the Syrian opposition and civilians instead of fighting ISIS. These military actions constitute a further escalation and will only fuel more extremism and radicalization, the statement said. It is also that same statement also questioned whether Russia's primary concern is attacking ISIS or propping up Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. What do they mean they're questioning whether Russia's primary concern is propping up Assad? Of course it is. We just heard him say it was. Russia is clearly attacking pro-democracy rebel forces, forces that we support. Therefore, Russia is bombing American interests. The Kremlin even admitted the targets aren't limited to ISIS. Quote, "This operation is aimed at supporting the Syrian armed forces and fighting the Islamic State terrorist group and other extremist group," according to Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov. Of course, other extremist groups, as they say, according to Russia, are ones that are backed by the U.S., and coincidentally, that's the ones they attacked first. The Institute for the Study of War said Russian airstrikes appear to target Syrian rebels, not ISIS. That's an independent organization. Quote from the Institute for the Study of War: "Russian warplanes conducted 20 airstrikes on the rebel-held town of Rostan and Tal Bishah, north of Homs City, as well as the towns of Latamana and Kafr Zita in Hama province." Once again, I apologize for the pronunciation. President Obama clearly has no idea what to do. He is officially out of his element. Putin pulled a fast one on him and let him know he is now playing with the big boys. Lots of military jets from different countries flying in cramped airspace could be disastrous. Ultimately, Russia's intervention is a game changer in Syria. It will alter the nature of international negotiations, compromise and weaken the cohesion of efforts of the U.S.-led anti-ISIS coalition, and of course strengthen the Assad regime, which is the whole purpose of Russia being in Syria. And according to Russian state television, it is warm and sunny in Syria, and conditions are perfect for fighter jets and launching airstrikes. I kid you not. That is exactly what a weather lady said on state television. Of course, I would play you that clip of her talking, but I believe our Russian listeners are few and far between. What is your idea on this?
No comment.
No comment. Come on. You're on the political talk show.
Russia is doing what is best for Russia. And I cannot condemn Putin for wanting to do what's best for his country at all.
But what if those interests are... I mean, of course you're not going to blame Putin. Putin's doing what Putin's going to do. But as far as how we're handling, he is now officially bombing against American interests.
But it's not like we've been handling the situation at all.
Right? Well, that's been our fiddle.
Right? We've been sort of quasi-backing rebels who may or may not be terrorists. But we haven't handled situations in Syria well at all for the last, how long has the conflict been going on now? 2-3 years?
I agree with you. We haven't handled it poorly, but the fact is we have interests there, and Russia is bombing those interests. They're taking out people that we support. And they didn't. And not only that, they're straight lying to everybody's faces, saying, "Oh yeah, we're bombing ISIS." We have all these organizations, people on the ground saying, "No, they're bombing the pro-democracy rebels that NATO is supporting, and people like the United States are supporting." And that's why they're targeting them. They're targeting them solely because we are backing them. And that is what bothers me. Is that, of course, Putin's going to do what's best for his country. That's what he's going to do. He's going to do what he thinks is going to, like I said, reset the world order, put Russia back on top, take NATO out. So with him doing this, from our aspect, I'm looking at it from where we're looking, and it's great concerning that we're just going to allow these people like Russia, to just trample all over us.